Hello, greetings from sunny Walijka, just outside Krakow in Poland, once again, on this very last day of May 2023. I don't know if you can hear the music that I'm playing, but I need to turn it down. Little Nurse with Wound tripping music from a triple LP box set released by Dirta Promotions, my good friend Steve Pittis at Dirta Promotions, a while ago, I believe, but I only got round to listening to it recently. Anyway, yeah, it's called Tripping Music, really good, and it's an appropriate segue for one of my own releases, really. The title Tripping Music is very appropriate for this, which appeared about two and a half weeks ago on Fourth Dimension Records, the latest album by Ashtray Navigations, and this is really good. It's had a couple of reviews where coincidentally people have been saying it's a little like head music, or which, given the nature of its kind of scuffed psychedelic splurge, cosmic churn approach, I can see. I don't know if Phil is somebody who imbibes in such things, at least these days. It's his business, but I can understand why people are saying that. It's not my world anymore. I hasten to add, you know, I'm a pillar of society. So, yeah, I understand why people are saying that, but nonetheless, for me, it's always the music that counts, and I love the two lengthy tracks that constitute this album, one from then another. Again, sort of psychedelic in nature, but Phil Todd, as a few people have rightly pointed out, not only reviewers but other people over the years have pointed out, you know, that Phil's background is in kind of drone or noise guitar music, and I think maybe it's not direct now, but I think there's still this tendency in his work to nod back to his roots, let's say, you know, in those spheres. So it's not completely smooth. There are some rough edges to this. It's nice. There's some nice little avant-garde touches or experimental touches, for want of a better word, sewn into this as well. Really nice album. Very happy to release it. I love that cover as well. So yeah, there you are. I'll even use the cover for this upload as well. Yeah, there's the inside. Very nice. There's the back. I don't usually have my logo, the Fourth Dimension Records logo, so large on any releases. And when Phil, who did the artwork, sent that to me, I challenged it, but he explained why it had to be so big. Yeah, and I accepted. I thought, well, why the hell not? Let's do something different. I do like that logo as well. Actually, that logo goes back a long time. It goes back to, I think, the late 80s, when my ex-wife was working in a printing department at a college in Canterbury, Christchurch College. And I don't know if it's called that anymore, but that's what she was doing. And she was involved in graphics and whatever. And one day she just came home and said, "Here, I've got a logo for Fourth Dimension Records." So of course it's Behemoth or Behemoth, um, and it actually reminds me of one of the first ever books I had on monsters when I was a kid, on monsters and things. I think this image was in there. So it was kind of sentimental for me in a way, and it remains thus as well for a few reasons. Um, and yeah, I've even had people who've worked on artwork for me in the past. My good friend Martin once said, "Why the fuck are you using that? It looks terrible." I love it. It's staying. It's going to stay. I'm not changing it. Maybe I'll fuck around with it sometimes, and it has been fucked around with. But that logo is staying. It's there. It's fourth dimension. This creature comes from the fourth dimension. So yeah, there we are. Anyway, that's the latest CD on Fourth Dimension. Great album. Really happy with that. Cargo should have their copies now, probably. So I imagine it will be available in the US and via retailers that deal with cargo in Europe and wherever over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Next few weeks. Excuse me, I need a slurp of. Well, actually, I've run out of Yorkshire tea, so it's PG tips. Good thing I'm going to England tomorrow, so I can stock up. Yeah, this. What did I want to say about this CD? I've included it in yet another deal as well. Not only the ongoing 7 CD deal, whose price I must increase over the next day or two, if I remember. I am taking my laptop to England with me, so hopefully I'll get a chance at some point, maybe on Friday or Saturday, to do that. So get in quick if you are interested in the 7 CD deal. But I've also included this Ashtray Navigation CD in another one-off deal. I've only got one set of these 20 CDs left. I only had 2, but I already had one taker. And it's 20 CDs, including 10 back catalogue CDs from my labels, including this. Although this is the latest CD release, and 10 kind of mail order releases. I have to say my mail order is pretty much dead, really. Now and again I get the odd order. I do continue to list things on Discogs. I do trade still, which is why there are things on Discogs. But I don't really push the mail order thing anymore. I don't harbour grand ideas for the mail order side of things like I used to. It's never been the same since the late 90s anyway, or early 2000s. So I'll just keep listing stuff on Discogs, and maybe I'll even put a link to Discogs there, below this. But yeah, I just I just don't get many people buying stuff that I take on from other labels and whatever, really. But yeah, anyway, so perhaps because of that and the fact that I've got piles of unsold purported mail order stock sitting here, there are 20 CDs available for £60 plus shipping, I think, or 65, I can't remember. Look at the link below and get in quick if you're interested. I think it's a bargain if you like the kind of music that I focus on with the labels, or the music that's in Discogs, that I stock. 20 CDs for 60 or 65 pounds plus a little shipping. It's pretty fucking good, isn't it? So, neat way of checking out some new music if you still like listening to music on physical formats, like I do. Yeah, what was the other thing? This also arrived yesterday. Kleistwahr, down but defiant yet. And acceptance is not respect. The latest double LP set, gathering two largely out of print CDs that I released on Fourth Dimension a few years ago. So this collects both of them. It's here for the people that always complained that the music was only on CD and possibly available for streaming or download as well. I don't know. That was Gary Mundy's domain. But it's a nice looking set. Maybe the last one I do. These things are really fucking expensive. I think this might actually kill me, to be honest. I'm dreading the bill coming. I'm not saying this for any dramatic effect either. I think I've bitten off a little more than I can chew at the moment with this, but we'll see. It's early days yet. I have had a number of pre-orders for it, or had a number of pre-orders for it, and they're in the process of being shipped now. I'm away tomorrow until Monday, so I'll continue shipping these next week. Yeah, really nice double LP set, and you know we really went to town on the packaging as well. You know, printed inner sleeves. There we are. There's Gary and his wife. There they are again. I don't know why, but whenever I look at that image, I always think there should be some empty kind of wine glasses or bottles or beer bottles around them. So no disrespect to either Gary or Jem, but yeah, his wife. But I don't know. They look like they're in a subway. You know, look like they should be selling Big Issue or something. So that's if Big Issue is still continuing. I don't know. Yeah, and there's the other one. Acceptance is not respect. And Puppy 38 did the assembling of all the artwork for this. He's done a really good job. Printed labels as well. So it looks beautiful. I'd say even if you've got the CDs, it's worth having this. Okay. How cheesy is that? I think that's really all I wanted to talk about. The sample copies of the ATV book are due to land today or tomorrow as well. So I think I'll be back here next week to push those, and discuss them, and see what and let you know what I think of how it looks. What else? Had a nice big box from Stephen Wilson of Base Communion yesterday. Not even got to it yet. Really appreciate that. And maybe in relation to that, I can't say because I might be giving something away. Next year, I'm going to be doing another label event in London on Saturday, May the 18th at Cafe OTO. Once again, haven't done anything there since 2018. So this is next year. So it will have been almost 6 years since we did the one in 2018. So a good time to do it. The artists I've got in mind for that, well, the artists confirmed for it, I should say, are once again Mark Perry, ATV. I will always push him because he's become a friend, let's say, and I understand many of his concerns discussed over the last couple of years, really, about how alternative TV is still seen as this kind of 77 punk group, and how he's long tried breaking away from that. I think he's achieved that with the upcoming LP, vinyl only LP on Fourth Dimension later this year. It's in production at the moment. Direct Action. That's it doesn't even feature his vocals. It's instrumental, 6 instrumental tracks of a more abrasive electronic nature, very disturbed electronic. So I think that goes some way to underlining his own dilemma, because, as I said, for many years now, people still see alternative TV as a kind of 77 punk group, just rehashing the same material from that period. Of course, sometimes he does play 1 or 2 songs, old classics, but I think it's more about that expectation. He can't stand it, So I think what I'm trying to do with my label events, and I've always had alternative TV appear at them, is try and bring him away from that image a little bit. So that cracked image. So yeah, because to go back to what I wanted to say about the Otto thing next year, there will also be Edward Caspell appearing and Splintered. So my group, we will probably go on first. So in a way, I think alternative TV will go on last. So there'll be a kind of dynamism. And then there's a 4th artist who I should be releasing an album by early next year as well, hopefully in time for the Otto thing, who should also be appearing there, but we need to confirm that later. So yeah, and maybe I gave something away here, but I'm not supposed to just yet. So anyway, it's a strong bill with 4 artists, and even if that tentative 4th one, or that unconfirmed 4th one doesn't appear, I've got at least 2 or 3 other artists I've got in mind who would fill the gap, at short notice. They have to stay in the UK, I'm afraid. Although I work with artists from all over the place, we've got to think about costs, So I have to think pragmatically. There's no other way of doing it. So it all has to be UK-based artists, and that's the only way I can go about this. I did think about doing something similar in Krakow as well, whereby I could perhaps invite Jolt Chores, for example, and maybe another artist that's here in Europe. But I don't know. I had a discussion last night with my friend Martin Barsky, and he said, "What's the fucking point of doing that? Nobody will come." Not because of the artist that I have in mind, but because he complained that people are just so apathetic here now in Krakow. Maybe that's true. Maybe I'm also apathetic. I've only been to 1 gig so far this year, and that was by a friend of mine, Cole Cully, 2 Saturdays ago. But I've got a young daughter, so that's one reason I'm not going out so much. I would like to go to a couple more concerts, but a couple more gigs. But yeah, I also like being at home as well. So it's very rare that I go out, even socially. So, but yeah, Cafe OTO, to go back to that, it is definitely happening. It was confirmed May the 18th, and I suppose during the next month or 2 we'll get a poster design ready. And as I said, the mystery 4th artist will remain a mystery until earlier next year, I think, as instructed. So yeah, and I think that's about it, really. Nothing else to report. No, I'll have another slurp of PG tips. So I think they didn't when I was a kid. They used to have those terrible adverts using chimpanzees. Is that right? I can't remember. Um, anyway, so yeah, and Yorkshire tea pisses on PG tips. I don't know why I used to think PG tips was so good. It isn't. It's similar to Polish kind of standards of tea. No disrespect to Polish, many things about Poland, including many things available food and drink wise, but stronger tea in Britain. So, yeah, and that's what I prefer. So yeah, I'll stop rambling. I'll leave it there, and I'll be back probably next week with an update on the Mark Perry book. So in the meantime, thanks a lot for watching, listening. Please support the labels if you can. I always feel like I'm doing a begging bowl routine with these things, which is essentially what I am doing. But yeah, all direct support welcome at the moment. It really is. That was one reason why I was deliberating, because in relation to that, I know I do deals quite regularly, and I keep thinking maybe I should do one related to vinyl, or um, maybe I should stop the CD deals and just do a deal whereby a label support thing whereby um, people could just send a certain amount of money and it just guarantees all of the releases. I do vinyl and CD, so I don't know how to go about that exactly at the moment, but it's something I'm thinking about. Or the idea of just doing something similar for vinyl only, a vinyl deal, so you get the final upcoming final album, this Kleistwahr double LP, and the new ATV LP. If I do something like that, if I go ahead and do something like that, of course, anybody that's pre-ordered anything can always just, if they're interested, send the balance and they'll get the other records as well. But I'm still thinking about it. I'm very aware of the fact that I, I I think I bombard a lot of people with stuff. And I've had a few people recently write to me and say, please take me off your mailing list. There are just too many mail outs, too many newsletters. But really, between them and this, that's really all I've got for promoting what I do. So I'm not going to apologize for doing it. But of course, I'll remove you from the mailing list if you feel you're receiving too many emails and the effort of deleting it is just a little too much for you. So, but I'm trying to sell the records and books that I put out, and in an age where it's really difficult to do that, this is all I've got. I just use whatever tools I have, and this is one of them, and the newsletter's the other. But yeah, if you're pissed off about any of that, just let me know. I'll remove you. So, um, but yeah, I'll have a good think about the vinyl deal idea over the next couple of weeks. As I said, I'm in England tomorrow until Monday. I'm meeting Steve Pittis of Dirter tomorrow midday in my old hood, Herne Bay, and meeting a few friends in the evening as well. Going for an Indian, meeting possibly the rhythm section of Splintered as well in the evening, but definitely the Paul, the bassist. He's coming over to join us for an Indian meal and a couple of drinks in what used to be almost my next door pub, next door but one. I used to live on the seafront in Herne Bay, and there was a pub called the Ship on Herne Bay seafront. So I was a regular there. I used to go there at least once or twice a week, maybe with friends. Um, and yeah, that's the plan for tomorrow evening. I'm going there, and uh, maybe I'll keep splintered news till next week as well. But there's splintered stuff happening as well. So I'll save that for next time. I've rambled enough. Thanks for listening and watching once again, and be back here soon. Cheers.